The people of this nation have spoken. They've delivered us a clear victory.
A convincing victory.
Release the Kraken.
Release the Kraken.
I'm going to release the Kraken.
There's research from Dr. Shiva from MIT. Dr. Shiva from MIT and his team, after doing scientific research, they are publicly challenging Biden with scientific data. Dr. Shiva said, "Our analysis in Michigan indicates a computer algorithm was likely to be used to transfer 69,000 votes. We are willing to subject our results to the critical and transparent review with Biden's representatives. But I don't think Biden is going to accept the challenge." Shiva's team's analysis shows that at least 69,000 Trump votes were put down as Biden votes by the Dominion software. In other words, while Trump's votes were cut by 69,000, Biden's votes were added by an additional 69,000 by the Dominion software.
It's not just Dominion, it's all of them. It's not just Dominion, it's all of them.
The breakup of the election industry started with Diebold, so all of the software that the other vendors probably would have used, the source code would have originated from the Diebold.
A room full of hackers, all trying to hack into voting machines.
You can possibly make it accept a fake card or accept any card, so you could add your own votes.
These are supposed to be the latest machines. They're still used in elections, and they're running ancient software. I think that, like, if somebody wanted to, it would be pretty easy to fake an election.
They've all been invited here to demonstrate just how vulnerable the tech we rely on for our elections can be. The experiment is the brainchild of Jake Braun. He's a former security advisor for the Obama administration.
We were there specifically to attend something called the Voting Village, which is something that's gone on for 3 years. And in this, its third year, they had assembled some of the most common voting machines in the country, both systems that are on the front end that you and I use to actually register our vote, and the back end, tabulators and so forth, that you would feed a paper ballot into. The organizers were reduced to finding these machines on eBay, which right there is pretty terrifying, because it turns out that anybody can buy some of the most common machines in use on eBay. We were seeing Dominion's image cast system. It's a line of tabulators that paper ballots are fed into. That had its guts all over the room. It was not clear to us whether this was the most recent version of the image cast hardware.
What's really troubling is that we discovered that a lot of the equipment that's being sold on the market now to replace old, outdated systems is built on operating systems that are also very soon to be outdated. So there's a lot of counties and states that are spending a lot of money for new systems, and in a very short few months, those new systems are going to be on software that's end of life and no longer going to be receiving security updates.
It's important to note that Georgia just spent over is about to spend over $100 million on a contract with Dominion to provide image casts.
The vendors have been selling equipment without a lot of scrutiny. There's been very little oversight, so they could be selling equipment that they're saying is based on new secure software that really isn't built on the newest and most secure software.
At one point, the admin password was just sitting there on there, because it turns out that the same admin password, it applies to multiple machines across the room, and those machines were created in the 2000s, which means that they were in fact created so you can't change that admin password.
An expensive voting machine with a very serious security flaw is being purchased across the country. The voting machine is called the Image Cast Evolution, or ICE machine. It's made by Dominion.
This ImageCast Evolution voting machine has the physical ability to mark votes onto the ballot after the last time the voter sees the ballot.
The machine is a combination ballot marking device and optical scanner. According to information on the company's website, the voting machine is the only optical scan tabulator using a single ballot paper pad.
If the machine is hacked, then they can install software that marks votes on the ballot after the voter last saw it. And if the piece of paper can be marked by the computer after the last time the voter saw it, and the whole paper trail is compromised.
6 swing states have now purchased voting machines that security experts say have this problem, including the critical states of Florida, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. At a Board of Legislators meeting in February, the sales rep from Dominion demonstrated how the machine worked and answered questions.
My name is Gio Costantello, and I'm here to present the ICE machine.
Can you hack into the machines we have now?
No.
To hack into the voting machine company, all it takes is one person clicking on the wrong email, and now the adversary is into the network and can steal cryptographic keys to install software in voting machines. Then that voting machine cheats for the rest of the time without you having to touch it.
Dominion released a statement saying in part, there is no way for the ballot marking device to make additional marks on the ballot.
Dominion's statement worried me because it really conveyed a lack of understanding of what the problem was.
In 2019, Georgia bought the devices from a Canadian company called Dominion Voting Systems. But election security experts have uncovered several troubling issues. Alex Halderman looked closely at the QR codes, where the votes are encoded for the scanner.
By analyzing the structure of the QR codes, I've been able to learn that there's nothing that stops an attacker from just duplicating one. And the duplicate would count the same as the original barcode.
Do you read barcode? Can you? Do you know that barcodes can have changes on them?
The barcode option has come under fire by several groups who claim the system is susceptible to hacking.
So this week, CNET senior producer Dan Patterson spoke with Chris Thomas, a hacker who's also known as Space Rogue. He's a cybersecurity researcher at IBM who specializes in election integrity.
Well, ideally, probably what would happen is that someone would get a hold of one of those machines before Election Day. Buy it on eBay.
The organizers were reduced to finding these machines on eBay.
Steal it.
The Secretary of State's office says it is unacceptable. Cobb County elections officials waited 2 days to tell them someone stole several voting machines.
Buy it legitimately from the manufacturer. However you would go about getting that system. Then you would pull it apart, research it, try to figure out where the vulnerabilities are.
And yet here these kids were who had opened it up. They said, look, you can pop the front off of it, and here's a port you can get into right here. That's easy. You know, all kinds of stuff that you could certainly do within 6 minutes behind a curtain.
Then on Election Day or before Election Day, you would need physical access to that machine to carry out your attack.
Georgia's new voting machines are getting a late software update after officials discovered a glitch.
And then hopefully you could change a few votes.
They are tabulating the absentee ballots of Fulton County, Georgia's most populous county. A water pipe has broken inside the arena. They had counted 86,000 absentee ballots. We don't know how many more they have yet to tabulate, but all the tabulation of those ballots has now stopped. We're told by election officials they may not finish tabulating those votes for a day or two. So depending how close the rest of the state is, we may not know the result of this critical battleground state for another day or two.
In Antrim County, ballots were counted for Democrats that were meant for Republicans, causing a 6,000 vote swing against our candidates. The county clerk came forward and said tabulating software glitched and caused a miscalculation of the votes. Since then, we have now discovered that 47 counties use this same software in the same capacity.
Some people found that there was a big problem with the live broadcast of the vote counting in Pennsylvania. That is, the number of votes for Trump appeared instantly and dramatically decrease, while the number of votes for Biden increased simultaneously. And you may know that the number of votes for Trump decreasing and the number of votes for Biden increasing, it was the same number. In other words, some of the votes for Trump were shifted to Biden. The screen at the time showed that the number of votes that were shifted was nearly 20,000 votes. By looking at this official data, we are able to find many clues. For example, at the time of 4:07:43 a.m., the total number of votes recorded was 2,984,468, with Trump at 56.6% and Biden at 42%. In the next one, immediately following, which is the 188th record, the time is 4:08:51 a.m., and the total number of votes recorded was 2,984,522. with Trump showing 56% now instead of 56.6%, and Biden showing 42.6% instead of 40%. So in 1 minute, Trump lost 0.6% and Biden gained 0.6%. The problems found fall into two main categories. One is conversion, which is the direct conversion of Trump votes to Biden votes. The other is loss, which is the large number of votes that have quietly disappeared in the process of real-time broadcasting. We can start by looking at the scans that were listed. Pennsylvania tops the list with the most alarming figures. According to the verification, the number of votes that were converted in Pennsylvania was 220,883, while the number of ballots that disappeared was 941,248. The data in some of the most sensitive states at the moment is Georgia, where the recount is underway. 17,407 votes were converted, and 33,574 were lost. In Michigan, 20,213 votes were converted, and 21,882 were lost. A few important points need to be made here. One is that the batch of data used to check the system came from Edison Research, a source which is being used by almost all of the major media outlets like New York Times website, ABC, CBS, CNN, and NBC for election coverage, and probably many others as well. Number two, all of the conversion data shows that it was Trump's votes that became Biden's votes, all flowing one way with no indication of the opposite. Number three, theoretically, the missing ballot data should contain both sides, but there's no confusion here as to who got more votes and who got less votes at this time. Number four, all this data has been backed up and saved and is publicly available on the network and can be viewed and verified. Number five, someone going by the name of Truman Black. We don't know if this is his real name, but it seems likely that this name will go down in history as a thriller for having exposed much of this information. 542,181 total votes were switched to Biden from Trump, and a whopping 2,865,807 votes in total were lost. Think about it. The current vote count is pretty sticky in several key battleground states. The primary target of the Truman Black verification was those states that used the Dominion system. It had already come to light in Michigan that 6,000 Trump votes were incorrectly sent to Biden. The defense was that it was staff error. But now we're seeing the fact that 30 or so states across the country that use the Dominion software, they all have an identical large number of mistakes, and they've all gone against Trump, and they've all gone in favor of Biden. This discovery is certainly one of the strongest nails in the coffin of Dominion, the vote counting system, and we can be sure that it's not the last one.
Notably, the Dominion executives are nowhere to be found now. Dominion itself is utilized in 2,000 jurisdictions in 30 states. It has been uncertifiable in multiple states who realized all the problems that it had, including Texas. There's been no oversight of Dominion or its software. Workers in each county were trained by Dominion, but there's no evidence of any monitoring otherwise. We have testimony of different workers admitting that they were trained how to dispose of Trump votes and add to Biden votes. The software has a feature pursuant to which you can drag and drop any number of batches of votes to the candidate of your choice or simply throw them away. So we have mathematical evidence in a number of states of massive quantities of Trump votes being trashed, just simply put in the trash like you would on your computer with any file, and Biden votes being injected.
We have put together, I think, the most extensive and inclusive voter fraud organization in the history of American politics.